YouTube? It's your boy Jerome coming to you tonight with the review for Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 11, episode number 2. So this episode, it wasn't much to it. It was actually a filler episode. Doesn't look like we probably gonna get into the drama till maybe next week, episode 3, when we are introduced to Shamari DeVoe and we see Ronnie, who, from what I've heard, is gonna be the new Peter of this season. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Shamari mixes in with the girls. And I'm interested to see how Ronnie mixes in with them as well. So without further ado, we are going to get started with the video. Alright, so the episode, it pretty much picked up where it left off last week, which was with Portia and Dennis in their hotel room, and he had that gift for Portia, which I kind of figured when I looked at that box last week that it wasn't a ring like Portia was expecting. It was actually a Rolex watch that he bought for her. I'm like, God damn, I'm like, what does he do? I know she told us last week what he does, but like, how much money is he worth? So, like I said, he got her a Rolex watch. So then they have dinner, and, she goes and gets dressed up for him. She puts on this sexy, tight black dress. I'm like, damn, Portia looks good. Like, the titties are sitting right and that ass is sitting right. So, so they're sitting down and they having dinner, and she had to tell the lady to unzip the dress because the motherfucker was choking her ass. And we found out that Portia is no longer a baby vegan, which I kind of already knew that. Because I follow Portia on Instagram, and I saw her actually, I think it might have been in yesterday or Friday when somebody took her some food because she's actually on house rest, bed rest right now. So somebody took her some food, and I saw greens, I saw soul food basically. I'm like, Portia, are you a baby vegan anymore? She didn't respond to anybody, but everybody in the comment section was like, girl, you're not a baby vegan anymore. So she answered the question that she's not. So then Dennis asked Portia the question of, when is he going to meet Miss Diane? And she's like, why, you got a question that you want to ask her? He said, maybe. And then he asked her, who else does he have to meet? And, she says, Nene. And, she's talking about how Nene's asked her questions about Dennis that she doesn't even know herself. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, you don't know certain questions that Nene's asking you about this man, but you are sitting here talking about how you want to marry him. But if Portia likes it, I love it. Like, I ain't got nothing to say about it. Because, she's talking about if it's probably another woman that asked that questions and she's not in the picture. I'm like, Portia, I love Portia, but sometimes she says stuff that makes absolutely zero sense to even the average person. So, then Dennis has another gift for Portia, and it is a diamond necklace. And I'm like, oh, God, like, how much money is he really worth? So, Portia, so this is the next day actually that he gave her this diamond necklace, and she's in the bathroom, and she's telling him to call downstairs and get a toothbrush for her and to get a razor for her to shave. So then Dennis says, you know what, I'll go get it. And then he goes and get her this toothbrush, and he comes back upstairs. She's talking about the toothbrush is too soft, and I'm like, huh? And then she's asking him for his toothbrush, and I'm like, ugh, Portia, that is nasty as shit. Like, I'm not gonna use anybody else's toothbrush but my own. Like, that's disgusting. Like, ew, ugh. That's just nasty as hell to me. So then, Portia's getting mad at Dennis because she's asking him where was he at the night before. And he says that one of his friends was in town and they were also in the same hotel with him. So he just went downstairs to hang out with them. And she was like, but you came back upstairs drunk. And she was like, well, how long were you downstairs? He said, maybe an hour or two. And she's like, that's a lie. She's like, because you left at 1 o'clock. And, I text you about 4 o'clock, trying to see if you were okay. And then I'm like, Portia, why are you doing all of this? Like, I mean, I guess I get it. You want to know if maybe he was with another female. But I think Portia was doing a little bit too much. And then, she even kind of came to the conclusion that she did too much because she did end up apologizing to Dennis for the way that she acted, which I'm like, yeah, Portia, I think you overreacted. Because if he came back drunk, that means that he didn't do anything. I would imagine he didn't do anything with another female, being as drunk as you said he was. So, yes, you overdid that, Portia. Alright, so now we have Nene. So Nene is down there in Miami and she's opening up her boutique Swagalicious. And then she's also getting ready for her comedy show that she's doing. I know she had Lonnie Love there and she has some other people who I haven't heard of. So I'm not going to mention them because I don't know their names. So then one of her friends asked her if the other girls are coming. She says, the other girls are not coming, but Portia's down here in Miami, so Portia should be showing up. And then we had the scene where Portia called Nene, and she's telling Nene about coming to the comedy show, and she's telling Nene how she, because Nene asked when is she gonna meet Dennis, and Portia's like, what, you might meet him tonight because I might bring him to the show with me, and yeah, that's pretty much it with that one. And then we also had this thing where Nene is in her condo, and the friend that was at this boutique with her is there as well as Greg. So it's kind of hard for her right now because Greg, for the past 2 years, has been the one that's been managing, her show. I guess like the back end stuff about her show, like getting everybody there on time, making sure everybody's prepared to go on stage and whatnot. So, it's just difficult for her because he's not going to be able to do that for her this time, but her friend is going to do it for him. And, looking at this whole thing with Greg, it's really sad because, I've had family members who have battled with cancer, who's lost the battle with cancer. And my heart just basically, it really does go out to Greg because, like I said last week, we can look at Greg and you can see that Greg has lost a lot of weight, which he had lost weight before. But now with this cancer shit, it's just really sad. And I hope that Greg gets better. I hope, things stay on the uphill for Greg and for Nene as well. So then we got the other girls, including Marlo. They're all in Miami, and Marlo's trying to figure out why they're all there. But basically, what it is Portia wants to, put the whole thing from everything from last year behind her. And I'm like, kudos to Portia for, being a bigger person because I would not have invited Marlo's old miserable ass on that trip because I swear to God, Marlo acts like she's a miserable person. So then Candy is talking, she's talking about how if, since the other girls are there, it's all good. But if it was just her and Portia, she probably would have had to pass on that, which we all know that. So then, the other girls, they're in their rooms and they're getting ready to head to the comedy show. So, well, no, they're actually just getting to the room to get their rooms. Sorry about that. So you got Candy and Cynthia. They have the two nicest rooms in the place. And also, each room with the girls, Portia handpicked their rooms and she left a note for each one of the girls. She left a note for Candy, Cynthia, Eva, and miserable ass Marlo. And I'm gonna get to Marlo in just a second. So, so like I said, Candy and Cynthia have the nicest rooms. So Candy can live up to her record of having the nice rooms on every trip, which I don't ever understand how that happens, but whatever. So Marlo goes to her room, and Marlo doesn't like her room. And I'm like, for a woman who didn't pay for this trip, number one, and number two, you don't even have a peach. So how you gonna sit here and complain about your room? And then also in Marlo's room there is an elevator. So they all like, well, where did this elevator lead to? So they hop on the elevator and they go downstairs, and downstairs is another room, which happens to be Portia's room. So, they all leave out, but then, the bellhop comes into Portia's room with Portia's luggage, and Marlo's like, oh, this isn't her room. Her room is actually upstairs, which was the room that Marlo has. And I'm like, how rude is that? Like, first of all, Portia's the one that put this together, air quotes, because Bravo paid for, which we all know that, but Portia put this together, so why does Marlo feel like she gets the best room out of all of them? And once again, free trip, number one. Number two, you don't have a peach. Cynthia, Candy, Eva, and Portia, they all have peaches. Marlo has no peach. Marlo is a friend of the Housewives, so Marlo doesn't get a housewife style room. Simple as that. Like, get the fuck out of here, Marlo, with that bullshit. So, they are, and then also when Marlo was up in her room, she called downstairs to see if she can get another room. And I'm like, chill the fuck out, Marlo, because obviously Bravo is not gonna pay for you another room, number one, because like I said, you're not a housewife. So get the fuck out of here, Marlo, and just be happy with the motherfucking room. So then, they are, like I said, they're getting ready to head to the comedy show. So Portia joins the girls in the van, and did Portia join them in the van? I don't remember. Did she join them in the van or not? No, she didn't join them in the van. It was them in the van by themselves. and Portia meets them at the venue, and she gets there and she's loud talking about, "Hey girls," and then right there by Nene's dressing room, and she's like, "Oh shoot, like didn't mean to do that." So then Portia goes in there with Nene, and they having a good time. She speaks to Greg, and then Greg comes in and says, "Look who I found in the hallway," and it's Cynthia, Nene, Eva, and Marlo. And Nene was, pleasantly surprised about this, but she, welcomed the surprise. And then my heart literally broke when Greg was sitting there eating a salad, and he was talking about that was the first time in 3 days that he was able to eat because he couldn't eat, and I'm just like, oh my God, like that is really sad. Like I say, my heart just basically goes out to Greg because that has got to be like a horrible feeling in the world to go through. So I did forget to mention that before Nene went on stage, Portia said a prayer for her, nice little prayer. So then after, Nene goes on stage. Like I said, she had Lonnie Love there. She had some other people there, which I don't know who they were. And, when it comes to comedy, Nene is not a comedian. I'm sorry to say that to anybody who believes Nene is a comedian. She is not. She's just somebody who happens to, say some funny shit on the show. But a comedian, I don't think she is. What I do think she is somebody who, is a hustler, much like Candy. So I'm not gonna knock anybody's hustle. So after the show is over with, the girls they all go out to go back to the hotel, and they eat and whatnot. And then Candy asked Portia, what did she do? Because they all knew that Portia was there before them. And she tells them that her and her boo are there together, and how he bought her the Rolex, the necklace, and then she talked about how she talked about marriage with him, and then she asked him about how they feel about using a man's toothbrush. All of them said, absolutely not. That is nasty. Like, I think we all can agree that is nasty as shit to use another person's toothbrush. Like, oh, that is disgusting. So then, she asked the girls how did they. Well, Eva said, she told her she was in love, and that's when Portia volunteered that she's, hoping to get married to Dennis. And then Candy was like, you know what? Since her nuts are cool right now, let him mention it. And I agree with Candy. Let him mention it because the way Portia's coming off so far is coming off very, very thirsty. And then I'm not here for Candy because I'm gonna tell y'all why I'm not here for Candy. Because Candy's talking about in her confessionals that she knows all this stuff about Dennis. But if I'm not mistaken, Candy, didn't you have such a huge issue at that party that Nene held a few seasons ago when Natalie kept saying that Todd was an opportunist, well, basically saying that Todd was on the come up? Didn't you have such a big issue with that shit? And didn't you have such a big ass issue with your mama and your Aunt Nora and goddamn, what's the other one's name? I can only think of Aunt Nora right now. Oh, Aunt Bertha. Aunt Nora and Aunt Bertha and your mama, when you was wedding dress shopping, didn't you have such a big ass issue when everybody kept bringing up stuff about Todd? Like, Candy is a hypocrite with that stuff because you don't want nobody to talk about your man, you don't want nobody to talk about your mama, you don't want nobody to talk about nothing in your life. But here you are doing it to Portia. Like, although you're not saying it to Portia's face directly, you saying it to us, the viewers, the camera. You saying all this shit about her behind her back. Like, Candy gets on, that's the only thing that gets on my nerves with Candy. Like, it's a complete fucking double standard. And I don't care how anybody feels about that, it is a double standard. Like, how you gonna sit here and don't want nobody to talk about Todd, but then you talking about Portia's man? I don't care. I mean, I get that you saying you know stuff about him. I'm pretty sure the man has slept with I'm pretty sure the man has slept with people in Atlanta. Who the fuck hasn't slept with somebody we all have a past, Candy? So miss me with the bullshit on that one. So then, Portia asked them how did they like their rooms. Marlo said that she liked her room, and Eve was like, bitch, what? No, you didn't. You the only one that was complaining about your room. And this whole episode, you can clearly see that Eva is not here for Marlo and her bullshit, and I'm absolutely here for it. I'm ready to see these two clash with each other. So, then they go to see the rooms. And the reason why Marlo said that she liked her room is because she literally put all her stuff in Portia's room. I'm like, man, that like how tacky and ghetto can you be? Like you can take the bitch out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the bitch. And I'm sorry if anybody don't like me calling her a bitch. I ain't trying to be rude or disrespectful, but it's just how I feel. But if I was Portia, Portia's better than I am because I would have had my foot permanently attached to Marlo's ass, telling her, "Bitch, get the hell out of my room. Take you and this shit that you done, you got, and go upstairs to your motherfucking room." Like, and then on that way up the room, Nene shaded the shit out of Marlo, and I was here for that shade that Nene threw at her. All right, so then the next day we have all the girls that are on the phone with that man, Candy is talking to Todd, and she's talking to Todd about Portia and Dennis. And I'm like, Candy, like, you don't want anybody talking about Todd. Why are you talking to Todd about Portia? Like, mind your business. You got Cynthia. She's cupcaking with her dude, Mark. And I'm like, oh, God, I cannot. Mark, Mike, whatever the hell his name is. I'm like, Cynthia, you looking just as thirsty as Portia is. And you got Eva. She's checking up on her family. So, Portia is in her room, and again, Marlo's shit is still in her room. But Portia took upon herself like, shit, bitch, I'm gonna wear all your stuff. If you gonna leave it in here, I'm gonna wear it. And I would have been the same way as Portia. So, Marlo then comes into Portia's room with her glam squad, and she was like, oh, Portia not here. But again, how tacky is that? Like, you got a room. Why don't you take your glam squad up to your room to do your makeup? But she sees that Portia's there, and she tells Portia that breakfast is coming, and the glam squad to do her makeup. I thought that was at least the best thing that she could do. Like, since you are bombarding yourself in this girl's room, but whatever. So we found out that those two went out the night before to the club, and also that Dennis tagged along with them. And Portia asked Marla how she felt about Dennis, and she said she loves Dennis for Portia. And which I kind of like Dennis for Portia as well. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you, I do. So then they start talking about how they got off on the wrong foot, basically, literally the wrong foot, because they got into it over a fucking mat last season, which was stupid as shit. But they eventually do make up with each other. So then we have all the girls. Nene is at her Swagalicious boutique. She's it's opening up. She has people there, and then the girls are getting ready to go. So they all walk outside, and Marla asks, well, where's the car? And Eva's like, but it's just like 2 blocks down the road. And like I said, Eva's not here for Marla's bullshit, but 2 blocks down the road. Now mind you, they all got on high heels. They complaining. Candace complaining about her pinky toe. Portia's complaining about her wig flying off, and Marlo just look like she dressed for the winter. And I'm just like, y'all realize y'all are not dressed to walk. Like, the smart thing would have been to at least wear some sandals to the event, to to the hotel. Put your heels in your purse and put your heels on when you get there. But that would be too much like right, huh? But with all they complaining and talking about trying to get an Uber just to go 2 blocks away, they finally do make it to make it there. And Nene is absolutely happy to see the girls. And then we see that Greg is not really feeling well. He's talking about how he's feeling faint and he's hot, so he goes outside. And I'm gonna keep saying this, like, I really, 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 really feel bad for Greg. Like, I hope that Greg gets better. So all the girls are really concerned about Greg, and they all go outside, and Greg starts telling some corny jokes, and I really thought that was cool, the fact that the girls were all concerned about him. But that was Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later.